I'm Mocha Nicole.
Miss Mo Quick.
What it is, man? It's your dog, DJ Black, Mr. Fix Your Face.
Hey everybody, Portia Fox from the Portia Fox Morning Show.
Yo, what up, though? This DJ E Smooth.
And one on the DJ Holiday, Mixtape King, Ciroc Boy, Commission Guy.
And we always listen to the Re-Up Recap.
You're watching Re-Up Recap
If you watching the Re-Up Recap
Right now, you with the Re-Up Recap with my dog, Julio.
with my boy Julio.
with my boy Julio.
With Julio.
You are at the reupspot.com. And of course, we're about to get into that Re-Up Recap with Julio.
The Re-Up Recap, man, is the only place you need to go for that brand new hip-hop, man. Re-Up, the reupspot.com. You got to check it out, man. One on the DJ Holiday, Mixtape King, Ciroc Boy, Commission Guy. And I'm telling you, man, where to go. You got to check it out. Don't play yourself.
Welcome back to the Real Recap with your boy Julio right here on realspot.com, where hip-hop culture served daily, and it's definitely dope, and you know it's dope if I'm involved. Welcome back, y'all. Hey, we took about a 2-week hiatus because I wanted everything to build up. I got tired of doing weekly stuff, and we wouldn't have enough. Damn it, I didn't know that I was gonna get this much stuff all in the 2 weeks. It was like every time I turn around, it was something that would hold us for like at least a week worth of shit to talk about. All right, so as normal, your commander-in-chief, he's mine because he holds the office, but I don't acknowledge that orange motherfucker because he doesn't deserve to be in office. Not because I don't agree with his political views, it's because he's disgusting in every way possible that a man in a position of power could possibly be. Because any person that's in a position of power that cannot accept faults at any point does not deserve to be in that position. All right, so of course, the whole thing with how Puerto Rico was handled and some of these the other islands were handled always comes up when talking about the situations of hurricanes and how the federal government responded to it, because he's at the top of the ladder. He's the one that ultimately will receive the criticism when it comes down to it. If he didn't put the right people in place and the right things didn't take place, that's just the way it goes. So what this jackass decides to do is, for one, he just went off the fucking rails and just said that the number of people that died was a made-up number by the Democrats. Sir, I don't know if you fucking understand how this works, but the Democrats didn't just make this number out there they didn't just pull this out the sky. They didn't just make this up to make you look bad. Like, what fucking purpose could any human being have for making up these numbers to make you look bad? They don't have to make any shit up to make you look bad. Motherfucker, all we gotta do is put a mic in front of you and let you talk about any fucking subject and you'll look bad. For example, when you talk about the process of dealing with the past Hurricane Maria that went through Puerto Rico, it proves to me that you're a fucking idiot, that you can use the word success when there are 3,000 people that died, and you want to say that the efforts in which that you dealt with the situation was a success. No. You can say that you dealt with it the best way you can. You're trying your best to get everything off the ground as fast as you can to get everything restored, and maybe even better than the way it was before it got destroyed. But no, your dumb ass chose to use the word success as if that shit is a success when 3,000 people lost their lives, and some of it not really their fault because they're on an island and they can't get away. I'm just saying, and that's just what happened. But don't use the word success. You have to show sympathy and empathy when dealing with people in tough situations, and you have to be smart enough in order to deal with it. Now, you can say what you want about me. I don't give a fuck. I will never get on there and say, oh, this shit was a success when 3,000 people fucking died at the hands of a natural disaster, and you have to be the one to go in and fix the situation. It wasn't a fucking success. The way it handled, the way in which you handled it, you bumblefucked it, and you continue to fuck up every time you open your mouth. They need to stop letting you talk out loud in public. I'm just saying, take the fucking mic away from you and let somebody, at least like Sarah Sanders, speak. At least she can fucking publicly speak. Or the other one, Kelly Conway, at least that broad can speak. I'm just saying, like, how the fuck do you fuck up every time that you publicly speak? There's no success in 3,000 people dying. That's just my take on it. Hopefully, if there's any devastation where we have to ask for federal help in any place in the U.S., that you don't fuck this one up too, and you put the correct people in place and you do what needs to be done instead of fucking tossing paper towels at people when they need fucking help. Like, we ain't forget that stupid shit. I'm just saying. Like, you literally are the worst president that has ever served this country. Literally. And I won't even say serve. You're literally the worst person that's ever taken that office, because you haven't served shit in a day since you've been in office. Quit fucking taking you're taking credit for shit you didn't do, and then you're lying about shit that people did before you. Like, be honest with what you do. But let me get the fuck off that podium and hop onto another one. It saddens me to even talk about this type of stuff. It really does, because white, black, Chinese, I don't give a fuck about the color of skin. Just when a person loses their life in an unfortunate situation, it always bothers me. Let me say this. The guy's name is Botham John. He was shot in his own apartment in Dallas. And the crazy part was an off-duty officer, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have heard about it at this point, entered his apartment and shot him in cold blood. Her last name is Geiger. She's a 4-year veteran of the department, and she was released on a $300,000 bond after she was charged last Sunday. Mr. Jean was laid to rest today, and his loved ones had a chance to pay respects. Okay, so apparently they're treating him just like they treat female suspects that come, well, not suspects, female accusers that come along in sexual allegation cases where they try to slut shame them. And this is what the media does to people, in particular in this type of situation, what they do to black and brown people. They try to find stuff or create a narrative to shit on you in public and make some kind of skewed view of you. So what they did was they issued a search warrant for his apartment, which to me would say it makes sense, because you want to search where the crime happened. You want all the details of what the crime did. But what also makes sense to me, who served this country as a proud veteran of the United States Air Force as a security force member, and to be in layman's terms, I was a cop in the Air Force. But nonetheless, I didn't have any specialty role. I was just a cop in the Air Force. I didn't serve long enough to go into any specialty of investigations or any of these things. But nonetheless, I served proudly. But common sense kicks in, and it tells me that once you have a suspect in hand, in custody, you want to search their premises or their job or what, you know, their workspace, and see what their mind thought was, you know, what their thoughts were, and whether they be able to, you know, commit a heinous crime based on hatred or what the case was. You want to search their stuff and look to see what you can find based on, you know, their behavior. So you should search their shit too. But no, what they try to do is shit on the black and brown people in these investigations. And what they attempted to do is basically slut shame him and release something about weed in his apartment. Let me tell you, first and foremost, he's in his apartment, and from my understanding, he was asleep, and it was dark, and he was in his apartment alone. I don't give a fuck if he was high off a fucking pound of weed. He was in his apartment not bothering anybody. Because had there been a disturbance call, we would have already knew about that shit. Trust and believe. You say you found residence of marijuana in his apartment. Okay, I don't give a fuck. Let me state this clearly. I don't give a fuck. He wasn't bothering anybody. He was in his apartment. If you want to charge him post-mortem for, you know, for whatever amount of weed he had, fucking go after it. Okay, cool. Nobody gives a fuck. But don't try to use that as an excuse of why she shot him. She went into his fucking apartment. Nobody can understand. To my understanding, it's not even on the same fucking floor. So why she would enter his apartment and not be on the same fucking floor is beyond me. Now, if she's being worked too hard, then maybe you should look at the hours in which you have these officers working and the grueling time you're making them serve during their shift on. But nonetheless, she walked into an apartment that was not on her floor, and for some fucking odd reason, she went into this apartment that was not hers and shot at this silhouette that she seen in the apartment that she thought was hers, which really wasn't, and we know it wasn't. And they're trying to create this this motive trying to get her off. First of all, that's cold-blooded murder. Let's call it what the fuck it is. I'm tired of playing around with you motherfuckers. That shit is murder. She went into a fucking apartment that wasn't hers. I don't give a fuck what her title was, what her job was. She went into a fucking apartment that wasn't hers, a residency that was not hers, and shot a fucking human being. At that point, it's fucking murder. I don't give a fuck what you say. She wasn't defending herself. She went into a fucking apartment that wasn't hers. It's fucking murder. That's all it is. I don't give a fuck how you label it. Quit fucking pussyfooting with that bullshit. She committed fucking murder. Charge that motherfucker. If you have the death penalty in the state of Texas, time to fry that bitch. I'm just saying, or shoot her up with a needle, whatever the fuck the case is. I'm tired of playing with y'all. This is some bullshit. She committed murder. Do what you do to people who commit murder. She committed murder. I don't give a fuck how bad she feel. This person has lost their life. And to actually make this shit even more personal to me, my wife actually works for the company. I'm not gonna say what it is. I'm gonna let y'all figure that out. If they ever say what fucking company it is, then cool, you can pick out where my wife works at. She sent this shit to me today while I'm at home. Hey, this guy actually works for us. So that shit even hit closer to home because it's somebody that's like six degrees of separation from me. Bruh, this shit has to stop. We have to start holding these people that have these positions to accountability. One thing for you to make a mistake, it's another for you to commit a whole crime. You gotta serve your time and fess up to what you did. Now, my thing is, in the state of Texas, if they still have the death penalty and the death penalty comes from murder, then it seems that she met the requirements to get the punishment of the death penalty. If it doesn't, then do whatever the fuck the penalty calls for and charge her with that shit and let her rot in fucking jail. She took somebody's life. So whatever the penalty is that people voted on and the law got passed for, that is what she should serve. Stop pussyfooting around with this bullshit. I'm tired of y'all letting these motherfucking cops off to committing murder. Tamir Rice, Philando Castile, Eric Gardner. I shouldn't know these people. They don't live in my fucking state. They're not in my family. They're not on my friends list. I shouldn't know these people, but I do. And it gets fucking frustrating. It's not a white or black thing. It's a humanity thing. I'm tired of y'all making this a white or black thing. It's a fucking humanity thing. If white people were getting killed off the way that black and brown people are being killed by the police, it would be a fucking epidemic. You know how I know it'd be an epidemic? Because right now, all I hear about opiates and opioids in middle America because white people are dying by the tons. Based on that shit. I don't give a fuck. I never gave a fuck about a drug addict, white, black, or otherwise. Nobody forced you to take this shit. Call me crazy, call me heartless, I don't give a fuck. But now we're forced to give a fuck because people in middle America, white people, are dying from opioids. That's why we're forced to give a fuck. You didn't give a fuck when that shit was in Harlem, when that shit was in Atlanta, when that shit was in Washington, D.C. and black people were dying off it. But now the shit's in Iowa, now you give a fuck. If white people were dying at the same rate by the police in which that black people were dying, it'd be a fucking crisis. And I'm not saying white people should die at the hands of police. I'm saying nobody should fucking die at the hands of the police that are fucking innocent people. You have a case where a 12-year-old kid was shot playing what we all do when we're 12-year-old boys, playing cops and fucking robbers. And now we've escalated to somebody dying in their own fucking apartment. At what point are we gonna stop fucking doing this and fucking hold these people accountable? You can be mad at me all day, I don't give a fuck, but it's the truth. This shit frustrates the fuck out of me because as an American, I should not have to talk to my 7 and 8 year old about police brutality and being pulled over by the cops and the shit they can and cannot do, or we all might die in this car based on them moving their hands too much, or the fact that we have brown skin. We can't do anything about this, but you can do something about ignorant people in these positions of power. If you have the power to pull me over and have a gun on your side, then you have a position of power. We need to stop this bullshit. Like, seriously, it ain't retraining. We need to get away from idiots and stop hiring fucking racists and stop covering up for them. That's what the fuck we need to do. Like, seriously, stop this bullshit. We need people to get in position of powers to fucking change the system. Until we change the system, nothing's gonna fucking change. I did not even mean to go off on this tangent, but it's fucking pissing me off. Like, I'm tired of people dying at the hands of fucking ignorant, stupid people. If you got bullied in high school and you got this position and now you want to bully people, you're a fucking loser. I don't agree with bullying, but I don't agree with you. Oh, you got bullied your whole life. Now I'm gonna fucking show them because I got a gun. That don't fucking make you a tough guy. I'm sorry to tell you, you still a weak motherfucker and you still a weak individual. Fuck you and everybody that look like you. I hope you fucking drink bleach and die slowly. Like, I'm tired of this bullshit. People dying. This man died and lost his life because this bitch went in the wrong apartment. Fuck her, and I hope she get fried if they still killing people in Texas based on the death penalty. Now fuck that and fuck her. Moving on. My man Drake. And not to be outdone by any news this week, he did one of the most boss moves that you can do. He pulled a Jay-Z and Nas and brought Meek Mill out of his show and let Meek Mill perform Nightmares and Dreams, and the crowd went wild. Now, the fact that these two went head to head about, I think, 2 years ago or so at each other, and it was entertaining. Drake won that shit. There's no question that Meek took some L's in that shit, some major L's. But nonetheless, it was very entertaining. And the fact that these two could put it aside and Drake would bring him, had enough foresight or whatever the fuck you want to call it to bring this man out of his show and let the fans see that shit and entertain the fans. Now, if it never turns anything beyond this, okay, cool. But it was just that moment. Those moments in hip hop are big. When Jay and Nas stood on that stage and just looked at the crowd for 5 minutes at a roar of applause for them being able to squash what they went through and stand on that stage. That's a moment when he brought Meek out, and that's big for hip hop. Those moments are big for hip hop, and I was glad that Drake actually took time out to do that. Now, we want to see them do something together, and we want it to be dope. Whatever the hell you equate dope from Drake and dope from Meek and put it together, that's what we want to see from them. But if it never comes along, at least we had this moment. And speaking of moments in hip hop, not to be fucking outdone, Nicki and Cardi fucking went at it. And I really mean that they camps came to some type of blows. Now, to my understanding from seeing the video and then hearing Nicki's interview and the back and forth with her and Cardi and everything, this is what I see from what happened. They were at a fashion week event, excuse me, and Cardi spots Nicki, and the shit is on from that point. Nicki tries to get to Cardi, swings erupt, all this good shit, but Cardi really never gets to Nicki. Now, what you do see is Cardi walking out of the event with a knot on her face or above her eye, and then Nicki goes on a fucking tangent. And when I say a fucking tangent, I really do mean she did Queen Radio and fucking aired it out. Now, from what Nicki is saying, Cardi's a fucking liar. That's what Nicki's saying. Cardi said that Nicki talked about her kid, talked about her parenting skills and liked comments about her parenting skills being bad and, you know, negative comments about her kid and so on and so forth, and the shit just built up and then she fucking snapped. Nicki says that Cardi did this to build sympathy for her situation and that she looked fucking stupid. So that's why she dropped that prior to this video coming out, and that this shit was staged with her publicist actually shooting that video, so on and so forth. And basically Nicki is saying that she's disgusted by what happened, and basically the place where they were at and the company that they were in, that these upper echelon people, that's not the way in which they carry themselves nor act. And she said it's not a white or black thing, it's an upper echelon thing. And I could kind of see what Nicki's saying. I don't know whether she's wrong or right in what she's saying. Let me say that. And I'm not saying whether she's wrong or right. I'm just talking about what she said and the picture in which she's painting. She's saying these upper echelon people are not used to this type of thing happening at their events. And I must say that the fact that I have not seen anything this big about those, you know, somebody fighting at these events, and that's not a normal thing, that I would agree with her. Now, I don't know, because Cardi didn't release any evidence about, I didn't see it anyways. Now, if it is out there, cool, it's out there and I didn't see it. But let me say, I did not see any evidence of Nicki liking a comment about Cardi being a bad mom or her kid, and I didn't see anything where she said it. But, my nigga, there are video, well, not video, audio, where you hear Cardi saying shit about somebody child dying and things like that. It was just disgusting remarks about somebody who had lost their child. Now, let me say this. I think in any situation, kids are off limits. I would never, me personally, I'm not saying Cardi, well, actually, I heard Cardi say it. I heard the fucking audio. I heard Cardi fucking say this. Now, I don't know what drove her to say this. Let me say that. Because sometimes shit could drive you to do stuff and it be wrong. Even though it drives you to do it, it's still wrong. So I don't know what drove her to do this, but the fact that you could say that you're glad that somebody's child died, that's off limits to me. I got kids. I would never talk about somebody's kids or the fact that, God forbid, they passed away. A parent should never bury a child, no matter what the situation is. They should never bury a child. But yeah, so looking at the evidence, if I had to look at the evidence, I would say that, you know, if I had to skew towards one, Nicki's righter in the situation. She's more right. But I can't say whether Cardi gained fame or more whatever off payola and sympathy. I'm not going to go that route, because I can say this. From my point of view of what I've seen, people really fuck with Cardi based off what we perceive to be authenticity, where she would get on, speak her mind on IG and social media, and it would just be real. Now, whether it's real or not, I can't say. Anybody can get on and fake anything. I'm not saying she did, but what I'm saying is sometimes we can be fooled into believing something's real and it's really not that particular way. I will say this. They need to stop this bullshit before somebody really get hurt, because Nicki has already said that if the wrong person get touched, somebody's gonna die and her paper's long. Basically what she's saying is she could hire hitters and it'd be a wrap for Cardi or whoever's near her. They need to stop before this shit goes off of tracks, before this shit gets off of wax, however the fuck you want to say it, before the shit gets real and somebody really gets touched. Quit issuing them type of fucking things, because people near them that really are street people really are not gonna fucking take too kindly to this bullshit. I'm just saying. So before somebody really gets fucking hurt, they need to stop this bullshit and squash it, fucking look the other way and fucking get your paper, because it's not worth it at the end of the day. I'm just saying. This shit's all fun until somebody really fucking gets hurt or killed. I'm just saying. Remy Ma actually brought that shit up. And I think Remy Ma actually is a good person to look at, because she can actually testify to doing what she considered to be dumb shit and getting locked up. So I think she's the perfect person to speak on this. So moving on into other bigger and brighter news. Eminem dropped Kamikaze. Now, I got to say, when I first heard Kamikaze, I heard like track, I was on 1.5. I was on track number 2. Halfway through, I stopped and just started hitting people. Hey, M is fucking going in. He's not fucking playing with him. And I just think lyrically, he fucking went in on this album from all the shit I heard. Now, can I quote any lines? No, because I ain't paid no attention. But I can tell you, when I heard it, I thought the shit was dope from what he was saying. Okay, so what happens is Eminem goes at people who he felt like was taking shots at him after his last album, Revival. Cool, he really fucking went in on people. I ain't seen some shit like this since he did it on fucking the album with Cleaning Out My Closet, the Eminem show, where he went at like people like Cannabis and shit on that album. All right, so MGK, excuse me, Machine Gun Kelly, decided he's gonna do with this and go at Eminem. Mind you, Eminem was one of his biggest idols, and I guess they just never seen eye to eye. M wasn't fucking with him, he wasn't feeling it, so he went at him. Now, the diss was not bad. It really was a decent diss. It's not even bad. Now, whether the shit's true or not, I don't know. But if it's true, damn, it holds weight. And what he said, he really was saying some shit. And then Joe Budden decides to open his mouth and says that he's better than Eminem. Okay, cool. Let me go ahead and say this shit. I'm not the biggest Slaughterhouse fan in the world. I know who's in it. Crooked Eye, Joe Ortiz, Royce the 5'9", and Joe Budden. I've heard bits and pieces of shit they've done, and I think lyrically all of them are dope. Now, Joe Budden is nobody to be in my top 30. However you want to rate this shit up, he'll never make top 30 in any fucking list I give you. I mean, fuck how you break it down, whether you just go straight to lyrics, you know, whatever the case is, nigga never make my top 30. So for the fact that him open his mouth talking about you better than him, you saying that shit because you got lips. My nigga, you will never be on that list with him. And I am so glad that Remy Ma checked that motherfucker on that podcast. She told that motherfucker he was pussy to his face and he is scared to respond to M, and M would flame that ass. It's not even a question. M would eat that ass for lunch. The motherfucker, that's not even lunch. That's like some shit. I don't even know if they have appetizer for lunch food, but nigga, you be the appetizer. And MGK, you're not even worth really responding to. Your career says you're not worth responding to. He could, but then your career's over. The little bit of shit that you did have. My nigga, Diddy don't fuck with you like that. If that was the case, nigga, we would see you in Ciroc shit and other shit that Diddy promotes. We don't fucking see you in that shit. I'm just saying. Like, my nigga, you did a movie or two, and that was cool. You was cool in the movie where the people was playing that game and shit with the little white girl. And it was a good movie. I can't think of the shit off the top of my head. But nonetheless, it was a good movie. But my nigga, you step into a whole ring you're not fucking prepared for. Marshall Mathers is not the one you want to go after. Let me state this. None of you motherfuckers have been on a record with what is considered a GOAT, Jay-Z, and outdone that nigga. M did that in Renegade. Yes, that was fucking over 10, 15 years ago, but nonetheless, none of you motherfuckers got that on your resume. Name one album that somebody else has been on with M where they out fucking did him lyrically. Please name it. He's been on records with Wayne. I love Wayne. Didn't outdo him. He's been on records with T.I. Didn't fucking outdo him. Like nobody's been on a record with M and outdone him. You niggas can't get on albums with people that Wayne's done, that M's done albums with. So quit fucking speaking this man's name as if you're ready to get in that ring and box with Rabbit. Like, you're not ready for Rabbit. Fuck Eminem. You're not even ready for Rabbit, my nigga. Like, that shit sound good that you said whatever you said, and cool. The shit's a combat sport. What I can truly say as a fan of hip hop, please, if Eminem responds, Machine Gun Kelly, please have another one in the fucking holster. Please have some shit ready. Because I want this shit to be entertaining. But I am telling you, for your career, back the fuck off, you're not fucking ready. Joe Budden, quit this stupid shit. Nigga, you cannot fuck with him. And you talking about what has M said in the last 10 years? Please, I implore a Joe Budden fan, look at me, I'm coming closer so you see this shit. Name one fucking lyric that Joe Budden has said in the last 10 years that just fucking dope and make you say, ooh. Nigga, you can't say that about his whole career. Nigga, he got shelved at fucking Def Jam. No, they didn't know what to do with him when he first came out. And yes, that song is a great song and we'll always, you know, you can always go back to it and be great. But nigga, name one time that you can say, man, Joe Budden fucking killed that shit. Unless he was by himself on the album or by himself on the record. And then the record's irrelevant. None of us talk about it. When the last time you talked about a Joe Budden in any lyricist conversation? Never, unless you specifically were talking about Slaughterhouse. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Hey, so that's it for here, man. I'm wrapping up. I gotta get the fuck out of here. This video's already too long. All right, so make sure y'all tune in. I can't say weekly at this point. I'm not even gonna do that, but I would definitely try not to go more than 2 weeks without doing a video right here on the Re-Up Recap. It's your boy Julio. These are all my fucking opinions. If you don't agree with them, cool. You can let me know. We can go back and forth. Leave your comments under the videos. All my social media will be in here. Make sure you check the bio for that. Until next time on Re-Up Recast on reupspot.com, where hip hop culture is served daily. Is definitely dope. This your boy Julio. Peace.